Hey guys, Thomas here. Super happy to meet you again for a tutorial video on the aura analysis within the Healy Advisor app. So to start, you're gonna grab your Healy, and if you want one of these beautiful brass case, you contact me. And you're gonna open the blue app, as we call the Healy Advisor Analysis app. We saw in another tutorial how to set up your profile. So that's done already. So we're gonna go into the second category, aura analysis, and then select the profile. For example, myself. All right, so first, I'd like you to consider, before doing your own experiments with the aura module, is that it's different from what we call in the esoteric tradition, the aura, meaning the luminous reflection of your energy field around you. That would be not quantum, it would be more electromagnetic and connected to your energy bodies. The Healy connects to the quantum field or the information field in order to retrieve the levels of energy within your 7 chakra system. They took that perspective. They could have used 12 chakra or more, but that's the most widespread chakra system. So this is not the aura as in the luminous reflection of your energy field. It is a measurement of the direct and instantaneous flow of energy within your 7 chakras from the quantum field, okay, not on the energy body level. What does that mean? What's the difference? The difference is that it's extremely sensitive to your intention, what you're doing while you scan. You will see if you make your experiments, your attention, your intention changes the results quite drastically. So we always advise you to do the scan in the most proper conditions, which are, before clicking on record aura, I just focus on stabilizing my field, stabilizing my energy, like nothing is moving within me. And then I click record aura and I don't move for the time of the scan. All right. And I have, of course, this pure intention of, I'd like to know what is the distribution of energy in my 7 chakras. I don't have another type of intention. We will see that later. So now I have this page appearing. I'm going to click on analysis in order to see the levels of energy right now in my 7 chakra system. So right now we see that I'm high in the heart, in the solar plexus, in the root, lower on the top 3 chakra, and really low on the sacral. Okay, very well. Then what we're going to do is to select 1, 2, or 3 chakras using the little ticks there under the chakras in order to continue the analysis. So for example, right now I need to choose 1 or 2 chakras that I want the analysis to go further in. And we need to really understand what's going to happen because it's a very powerful tool that we need to master the usage of. Else you will not draw the full potential of what the Healy can be for us. So this is just for the sake of the demonstration. Let's say that I select the throat chakra. I click on start analysis. And here I have an option. First, so I click the throat chakra, and here I have an option to include high negative relevancy. What this means is, do you want the scan of the energy patterns that are active within your chakras to also take into consideration the patterns that are partially or totally in your unconscious mind? So basically, how do you decide? If you're already well versed with the Healy or you know how to do it for someone else, then you can include it. You will just need to be able to explain to the person this particular pattern or message in your chakra. You might not be fully conscious of it. So they will need to have an openness sufficient to accept and put the light of their consciousness on this topic. You can also not include it, and you will only focus on the patterns of energy in your chakra that the person is sufficiently conscious of. And the focus here, my aura is strong and stable, you can edit that field by clicking on it and put your intention. But you don't have to. What is more important is fixating your attention on the particular intention you want. Why is this important? In your chakra, there's 1,000 things going on. so many patterns that are active or not active depending on what you did today, depending on your life story and so on. But the Healy will only give you 3 messages per chakra that you select. So what is the intelligence selecting which 3 energy patterns to approximate what is going on for you? It depends on your intention and your higher consciousness. So you need to work together with your higher consciousness and be like, okay, this is a very important step. Depending on what I focus on, what I ask, what I direct my energy on, I would get a different result. So let's say here I worked on the throat chakra. Let's say I have a sore throat or a problem, a pain in my throat. I can ask and focus on, what are the energy patterns that are causing this disturbance, this pain in my throat. And then I click. It's going to scan regarding that intention. But I can also ask something totally different, like what are the 3 spiritual topics that I'm working on in my throat chakra at the moment? Or, what are the patterns that I should continue the work on that I'm not finished, but I'm not sure, so I want to use the Healy to check. Okay, so that's enough to emphasize the importance of your intention at this stage when you selected 1 or more chakras. So for example, here I want to include the scans in my unconscious mind, and then I focus on a certain intention, I hold the focus and I click on Start Analysis. And then we will see that the different answers are coming through these big white categories. We're not going to look at the ones that came up for me. Instead, I'm going to take an extract that I selected for the purpose of this tutorial video. So, let's take the first one, for example, and see what it looks like. So the first one, as you can see on the screen, is going to tell you we are in the orange chakra, the 2nd chakra. It's going to tell you that this particular energy that we're talking about inside that chakra is green. Great. We're going to see what it means. The present state description is going to approximate what energy pattern it is for you. Here, the person tries to experience the expectations of 1 or more members of the family in regards to parenthood. So we're going to comment on that. And then you have the desired state and desired state descriptions, which are generic for each chakra. They are the healing, harmonizing energy, so you don't need to read it. And then we see at the bottom, at the top left, 3 parameters: a percentage, a number, and some letters. Alright, so before we actually analyze this example, I'm going to show you what they mean. What is the grid to analyze this information? Great, so here first is the energy reading color scale, meaning it's the first line that we saw before. The color of the particular energy within a chakra. So if it's the same color as the chakra, for example, you're in the green chakra, heart, and that reading says that the energy is green. That means that the energy that we're talking about is harmonized already, so it will be a positive reading. If it's partially the color of the chakra, for example, we're in the yellow chakra and the energy is yellow-orange, so partially it's harmonized. It means that the harmonization is in process, is going towards harmonization, towards resolution, so you have somewhat a positive statement within the process, depending where you are at. If you have another chakra color, or just another color, like we just saw in the example, it was a green energy within the orange chakra, it means that the energy is not harmonized. So it's approximating some sort of blockage. And the color that it's giving you is telling you from which chakra this blockage is coming from. So here in our example it was green, so that means that particular intent to satisfy or fulfill the expectation of family members regarding to parenthood is coming from your heart chakra. Great. Then you have 3 joker color, as I call them. So within the Healy framework, this is what they mean. If the energy is turquoise, which is not a direct frequency band of one of the 7 main chakras, they decided in the analysis grid that it means that there is a readiness to harmonize, meaning it's an encouragement. It's like, okay, we are ready to move, we're ready to change, And your higher consciousness is telling you that on this particular topic, you're ready to change. So it's like a confirmation and also an indication where to continue the work. Then you have the black color. The black color, it just means that there is a theme of the chakra that is being denied. So you need to document yourself on the particular chakra if you don't know already sufficiently, and try to identify with an open mind what particular theme you are resisting, like you don't want to deal with it. Because here in your quantum reading from your chakra, your higher intelligence is telling you, hey, you need to look at this because it's closing your heart chakra, that you're avoiding, actually not avoiding, that you're denying one of the topics. And white is going to tell you that there's a theme of the chakra you are avoiding, meaning that you are ignoring on purpose to do the work on that particular topic. So you see, resisting and ignoring, there are different qualities of the energy, there are different positions and behavior that you have, so it already gives you an indication. All right, that's it for understanding the first line, the present state, which gives you a color of the energy inside your chakra. Next, we're going to talk about the percentage. That is the first number. The percentage at the top left, it gives you the percentage of accuracy of the reading of the energy, so the sentence in English, regarding your real energy in your chakra. Because what matters is not the sentence in English that the Healy is giving you, is the actual real energy in your chakra. And of course, they could not put all the permutation and all the combination in English of what could be happening in each chakra. They had to put in the database a limited number of, let's say, the most common issues that are happening in this particular chakra. So, depending on your real energy in your chakra, you're going to be matching or not one of the messages in the database. So of course, if you're getting a 95% match with something that is in the database, it will tell you, oh, this is a very accurate description here, this sentence in English. So you don't need basically to try to understand what it's trying to tell you. It's pretty straightforward. If you have something like 65, it means we could not find in the database something close enough that is higher than 65%, so we still give that to you, and you need to try to understand what it's trying to tell you. So maybe you don't read the entire sentence, you read only one half, or you look at what topic it's talking about, and you have to analyze, and if it's for a patient, discuss with the patient or the client how it relates to their life. So the lowest the percentage, the more work you have to do to understand what it's trying to point out. The higher the percentage, the less intellectualization or the less interpretation we need to do. Okay? So it's not better or worse, it's just how accurate the approximation is. Right. Next number, it's a number between 1 and 10. It's called the intensity level. The intensity level, it's basically the level of presence of that particular energy pattern inside your chakra. So if you have like a 7, 8, or 9, this particular pattern is actually very active and taking a lot of space in your chakra energy system. If it's like 2 or 3, that's the opposite. It's a very, let's say, subtle energy within that chakra. What we want to translate it in practical, pragmatic terms is that the higher the level of presence of that energy, the more effort there is to do with your current level of consciousness to transmute or release that blockage, to basically overcome the issue. Right, so basically if it's a 1 or a 2, basically you're gonna know, oh, for me, it's a quick, let's say, fix. It's not gonna take me a lot of effort. Maybe it means you already did a lot of effort in the past on that particular topic, there's just a little bit left to do. And if it's like a 8, 9, or 10, it means you need to make it a priority. It's a big topic for you. It's a big blockage. It's gonna take some time, and you're gonna work through it, and then you can control with the Healy the level of transmutation. So if you continue to scan and the same message comes and the level of intensity goes down, that's great. It means you're moving forward with releasing or transmuting that particular topic. Okay, next we have a scale, which is called a dilution level from homeopathy. Basically what it's giving us as an information is the localization of the energy pattern within the subtle anatomy of the chakra. So the chakra system is communicating like a doorway, like a portal between all your energy bodies. And depending at what level it's stationed at, it tells you that the particular blockage is located in a different part of your being. So basically, if you get a D, and then there's a more refined scale, but we don't need that for now, just D. D means that it's the most dense. It's 10 in the Roman numbers. So it's the least diluted. It's the most physical. It corresponds, for me, to the physical layer. It means it's really well anchored in the physicality. It can be something that you carry from your genetic, or that you have been repressing or not addressing for a very long time since childhood, and you keep on maintaining that energy into your being, so it crystallizes down into the physicality. Level C, it's a bit lighter. It's in the emotional body, as we call it. And within that body, it means that, or we can interpret that there is an emotional charge associated with the particular event or events that created the blockage. Meaning you didn't release that initial emotion that you could not feel completely or properly when the event happened. So around that energy pattern, this blockage, you need to move forward, release that energy charge. By crying, by laughing, by dancing, or whatever healing process you want. Of course, the frequencies of the Healy will help, but it's your body, it's your being that is expressing that energy. And finally, LM, which is for me associated to the mental and higher, more subtle, meaning the spiritual levels. It means that there is no emotional charge associated with the particular event anymore, if there was ever one. Now it's just in the mind level. It's just the way that your thought and your belief system has constructed something that you hold to be true. So like you believe this to be true. After a big trauma, you made the story in your head, okay, if I do this, I'm gonna get hurt, so I cannot do this, or it's not safe for me to do this. That's a belief. If you already released the emotional charge associated with the trauma, but you keep thinking, oh, okay, I cannot do this, because then it's gonna appear in the LM levels. And for everything that is of the spiritual realms, connected to your soul and your ancestors and so on, we will also find them in the LM scale. All right, great. What does it tell us? But basically, as you understood, it's going to tell us how to continue to move forward on the topic. If it's in the mind, LM, then you're going to want to reprogram your mind or identify which belief you still hold to be true and change that. If it's in the C or the D, you're going to have to release actual energy, emotional energy associated with the event until the pattern is transmuted. And then, if you have a belief system associated with that, it's going to move into LM, and then you walk there. So it's telling you how to address the problem. If we look a little bit more into the refined levels next to the number, this is for the purpose of having a comprehensive tutorial, but it's not necessarily bringing you massive new information, although it's interesting to have the full scale of interpretation. You have, for the levels 1 to 60 or 1 to LX, a proposition to say, look, this particular pattern, whether it's located in your physical body, emotional or mental, it's to do with how you act. You're not coherent in how you act in the world regarding how you are or how you feel inside. If it's 100 to 400 or C to CD, it will tell you that there is an incoherence in how you think during the day, during the activities, how you think around that particular topic. If it's 1000 or 2000 or M or MM, it's going to tell you that there might be an incoherence in how you choose to live your life. So the way, the choice of lifestyle, for example, how you go by your day, how you deal with every area of life around you, also can indicate a lack of trust in a particular area of your life. And finally, 10,000, 100,000, which are the higher levels of refinement in that scale, it's telling you that there's an incoherence in a life theme. So in one particular entire area of your life, for example, how you address finances, or how you address relationship, or how you are, considering your friends and how to interact with your friends, or your passion or your work, in an entire life theme, there is a big incoherence. So you need to question and investigate within that life thing. Great. And now the last one, the most, let's say, for me, powerful one, if it comes up, and it comes up only sometimes, it's when you see a 1E and a number 6, 12, 24, or 36. It means 10 to the power 6, 1 million, 10 to the power 12, and so on. These levels of dilution are extremely subtle, and it's amazing that the Healy can pick that up in your vibrational signature. So if you have 1E6, it's gonna tell you that actually you're carrying this energy pattern from another of your incarnations, which are happening actually simultaneously. Maybe it's not just a past life, but there's another piece of your soul, of your consciousness, that is evolving in another life timeline, in another environment, learning other lessons, and in there, there's something you could not address or you could not resolve. And actually, it is chosen by your higher intelligence, orchestrating all your incarnations, that in this present time, you can release or work on that topic to help that other incarnation. So it's going to be karmic, 1 10 to the power 6, coming from another incarnation. Great. Next, if it's 10 to the power 12, it's going to come from your parents, in this life. Maybe it's something that they could not address or learn or transcend in their incarnation path, whether they're still alive or not, but this energy is expressed through you today, and your higher intelligence is telling you you can work on it, and it's going to help them, but it's from your own point of perspective that you're going to do this work. 10 to the power 24 is coming from your grandparents' level, and then finally 10 to the power 36 is coming from one of your ancestors above grandparents. Wow, yeah, it goes that deep. Fantastic, fantastic, amazing technology and tool. So now, let's come back to our example and see how I would do it in a session. So, first example. Here we are in Svadhisthana, second chakra, and first we read the present state. This energy is going to be green, so it has to do with the heart chakra and the topic of compassion, connection, and so on, love. And it's telling us that the person, so let's say it's me, the person tries to experience the expectations of one or more members of the family in regards to parenthood. Basically, it's telling me that in my Svadhisthana chakra, which was chosen to list all the topics of parenthood, emotion, sexuality, creativity also, I'm trying to comply with the expectations, so the way that other people in my family want me to be as a parent. So maybe my mom is trying to, impose her way of raising children on me, and I'm feeling in my energy field that someone is putting some expectation, and I'm trying to match that. I'm trying to, because it comes from the heart chakra, out of love, I'm trying to satisfy the expectation of my family members. But here the Healy is telling me it's actually closing the energy flow in my Svadhisthana. So it's not wise for me to align with the expectation of other people. You have to find your own truth, of course. And then we're going to check the numbers. 80%. So it means it's a good enough approximation that I probably don't need to extend more on trying to interpret what it's trying to tell me. Number 7, it means for this person, so let's say it's me, for this person it's a quite present energy pattern. So it is a lot of work for me to continue transmuting and releasing that particular energy. So I need to work on it as a priority. It will take some time, and I will be patient with the process. And finally, LM is going to tell me that it's in the mental planes or the spiritual planes, but here more the mental planes, since we don't have 10 to the power 6, 12, 24 or 36. So it's telling me that how I can move forward with stopping the influence of the expectation of these people on me, on how I want to be a parent, in my mind. I have to reprogram the belief that I have to comply with the expectations of my parents, for example. And I can do subconscious reprogramming, meditation, or simply, putting the light of my consciousness on what it is that believes in me, that I have to comply and listen to other people about how to raise my kids. Fantastic. Let's move to another example. Example number 2. Here, we start as earlier, present state. No, in which chakra are we? We are in the heart chakra, the green one. Great. Present state. This is a green energy for the example, of course. we have here an aligned, harmonized energy. So it's a positive message that my higher consciousness wants to give me as a present, as a reward today. The person is free of neediness and feels joyfulness without reason. Amazing. So basically, that's something that is happening in my chakra, and I needed to receive this encouragement, this message, because out of the 1,000 things happening in my chakra, that one was selected by my higher consciousness and in line with my intention. So that's amazing. In that particular case, I advise not to read the different parameters, because they would mean something else. For example, the level 8 would mean that instead of this is very present, I have a lot of work to do, it would mean this is very present, great, it's an energy that is well anchored and present in your heart chakra. So I advise not to analyze the parameters, just take the gift as it is and be like, okay, great, thank you, I am happy that I received this information about myself and my development. Next example, we are in the solar plexus and we have the color turquoise. So remember, turquoise, it means that it's an encouragement, something is ready to change. And we are in the Manipura, so the center of power, leadership, initiative, and action. All right, so here it's telling me the person lets go of dependency and feels that they would like to learn about and define their own values. Great, so it's telling me I used to have a lot of dependency, or I still do, but I am ready to let that go. And it's pointing me towards how to move forward to more independency. You have to talk, investigate, and tune in with what are your values in life. Amazing. So see, the turquoise will tell you, oh, something is ready to change. That's amazing. Now you just have to continue and do the work from that. I advise also not to read the parameters for a turquoise energy. You can, it's going to be a bit more complex, and this is a first level tutorial. It's already pretty intense. So great, in my Manipura I would have a readiness for change. Next, we are in the Manipura. It's a violet-red energy, so it's not a line, there's no yellow in there. It's going to be a blockage then. A weak feeling of self-worth towards a personality is the result of injuries made by the father or the mother. Great, so basically, well, not so great, but it's good to know about it anyway. The person is having a weak self-esteem because they were hurt or traumatized or had a bad relationship with their parents when they were growing up. So this is still influencing now the power of their sun chakra, the solar plexus. What I wanted to put this example for is the minus that you see in front of the 91%. 91%, like we said before, it's a very high accuracy, so it's very well described by this sentence. And there's a minus in front. When there's a minus in front, it means that the person is only partially conscious or totally unconscious of this particular pattern in their chakra. So you have to tell them, tell yourself, that particular energy you might not know. For example, if I'm doing a session with a client, I can say, maybe you don't know fully, but right now in your subconscious mind, you still carry the results of the traumas by your dad or your mom or both, and it's actually making you have a low self-esteem. And then, of course, it depends on the level of openness of the person to receive this kind of messages, and you need to warn them before you do a chakra scan. It can go a bit deep and personal. All right, so to continue the example here, we would say it's level 3, so that's a good news. It won't take so much work, or you did already a lot of work, but there's a little bit left to do to transmute or release this blockage. And it's in the mind that you need to continue to do the work. You already released the emotional charge of these traumas, of these injuries, but now you continue to believe that you're not good enough, or that you're not worth of what you receive or what you could have because of the injuries you used to get from your parents. So you continue the work there. Of course, you vibrate the frequencies as we're going to talk about, but it's not all that you need to do. So let's continue to another example, a karmic one, of course. So here we are in the third eye chakra, indigo. We have a yellow-orange energy, meaning that this particular energy is influenced by my Manipura and my Svadhisthana. It's telling me that the person is limiting themselves to their physical needs and their need to control everything. And what is very interesting is that you see, first I can be somewhat partially conscious or totally unconscious of that. It's a good approximation of the energy. It's level 4, so a little bit of work, but it's in my physical layer and it's karmic. So that particular limitation about my physical need, my physical existence, and my need to control, it's coming from another of my incarnations. You know, for example, I was, let's say, someone who was an ascetic yogi, and I was depriving my body from a lot of food and water and self-care and love, living in very roughly in a cave. I did not limit myself to my physical needs, I transcended them. But in this life, actually, I need to focus on my physical needs. That's an example. Another example, in another life, I was let's say a general in the army, and I was a control freak. I was trying to control everything, to make sure everything was working according to the plan, and so on. Well, I emphasized so many years on trying to control everything that at my soul level, there's an imprint coming from that life that's making me inclined towards, oh, I need to control everything. And here the Healy at this moment tells you, hey, at your soul level, there is a pattern you have about needing to control everything. And it can be both, you know. You limit yourself to physical needs. Another example, you were a witch, you were burned because of the spiritual powers you were, capable of, and then you got traumatized because you got burned, and you were like, okay, I will focus now on my human side and my physical needs, and I will control what I can, and I'm not going to try to be a healer or working with the spiritual realms. That was another example. Amazing. One last example for the road. The last example, it's in the orange chakra. It's yellow-orange, so it's already partially harmonizing. The person is trusting their emotions more and more. The control boundaries and mental constructions in relation to parenthood are making room for emotions. Wow, nice. So the particular person is more and more in tune with how they feel, and they release their grip on how to be a parent and controlling everything, so that they can tune in into more how to do it from the feeling and the intuitive point of view. But what is interesting, of course, for this example is that it's D1 to the power 24, meaning it's an energy pattern that is coming from the grandparents. And here it's an energy that is harmonizing, so it's not just a blockage that you inherit from your grandparents. Here you can interpret it as your grandparents had done a lot of work on that topic, on how to be good parents, to connect to their emotions and not trying to control everything. They are passing on that gift to you, so you can be grateful for that. Or they're helping you right now deal with that particular pattern in your life. So it's of course a positive influence from the grandparents and the ancestral line here. All right, coming back to our example on the screen, when you give already, of course, the full download to someone or to yourself, and you see how deep it goes, that's where the most of the work is being done. When you consciously put and open to receive more information about yourself, your chakras, that's where the big amount of work is done. Then you're gonna vibrate. So you click on vibrate here, and you're gonna choose a certain time for vibration. For example, I'm gonna, just for this example, vibrate 37 seconds, and I click start, and I keep an openness to be harmonized at the levels where I can. And right now, when the Healy is vibrating the harmonizing energy in each chakra, which was the sentence we have not read, the desired state, and it's emanating that harmonizing energy on the root of the disturbance, of the root of the problem in each chakra. So for example, you can see in my throat is vibrating complete and gentle healing of the issues of communication, expression, unconditional acceptance by enhancing the color blue in the throat chakra. And it's taking that mantra, that harmonizing energy, and putting it at the source of the blockage, where it is in my energy body that the Healy has detected. And of course, the more you use the vibrate mode intuitively, as you believe that it's good for you, the more you receive help to release the grip on that patterns, on those blockages. But you do most of the work. You don't just press on the Healy and, oh great, it's gonna transmute all my blockages. I don't have to do anything. That's not how it works. You have to already put your light of consciousness while you do the reading. That's where the big amount of work is done. Then you're gonna vibrate it to help your energy body to release that pattern. And then you're gonna be aware during your life, during the next 2 days and so on, if anything comes up in your life that is connected to those messages, so that you have an opportunity to change the behavior or the thought pattern or release an emotion to continue the healing process that is natural, that the body knows how to do. And you can continue to vibrate for a few days to accompany, to ease the process of releasing and transmuting these blockages and these harmonizations in progress. But the main amount of work is you. And if you're a spiritual person and you have your spiritual practice, of course, please do complement with your meditations and your healing tools the work in your chakras based on what the heal is giving you. Yeah, fantastic. So I think we've seen it all. I'm going to stop the recording here because it's long enough. Thank you so much for helping me spread the word on Healy, and hopefully this will really help you know how to use your Healy even better. Thank you.